what's up guys, my name is Sanjay and welcome to the Gentleman's Plate. The new thing this year is Michelada Bomb. If you've been anywhere on TikTok, you'll know that Miche Bombs are trending. I actually did a video a couple of days ago with a fizzing Miche Bomb. Since that video, I have been doing more research. There are a lot of people selling round frozen Miche Bombs. You know, it looked like more like a hot cocoa bomb, but for your beer. Turns out that they're actually just frozen Michelada mix. So the way I'm making it today, I don't know if it's gonna qualify as like a bomb. I'm calling it a Michelada Piñata because when it opens up, there's gonna be lots of surprises inside. But if you stick around with me, we're gonna learn how to make the shell, the filling, and the chamoy that goes on top. So traditionally, Micheladas are made with Clamato. I'm a vegan, so I'm using vegetable juice or V8 juice. First, I'm going to reserve a cup of the juice because I'm going to leave a little bit of headspace in the bottle since we're adding a lot of different ingredients. You want to get yourself a nice big jug so we have some space to mix everything into. And then the first ingredient is this Class Tamarindo Guafresca powder. It's basically going to give us some sweet and sour. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of that Tamarindo powder, followed by tahine, which is, if you don't know, one of the best seasonings ever. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of tahine. And next up we have chamoy. Chamoy is basically a sweet and sour plum sauce. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of chamoy. Now to add some heat, we're going to add some Tabasco sauce. You can use any kind of hot sauce you like. I like the scorpion sauce because it's nice and spicy, so 2 tablespoons or according to your taste. And then I'm going to add a dab of this Insanity sauce. This is a ghost pepper sauce, just a little bit. And for flavor, we've got Maggi Jugo sauce, which is Maggi's Latino version of a seasoning sauce. This is similar to Golden Mountain sauce. We're going to do 1 tablespoon of that. And traditionally, we're going to use pepper. We'll use 2 teaspoons of black pepper and celery salt, which is very common in Michelada. We're going to do 2 teaspoons, or try to do 2 teaspoons of celery salt. Now to add the sourness and a little bit more, Michelada oomph, we're going to do 2 bottles of these Lucas. This is Lucas mango flavor. You can use any flavor of Lucas if you'd like. And for extra sourness, we're going to do the juice of 1 lemon. And you want to give that a nice good stir. When it's done, we're going to pour it back in the bottle and give it a good shake. Now that reserve juice that we had on the side, you can put some back in if you want to mellow out the flavor, or you could just drink it basically. Now here comes the fun part. If you were a part of the hot cocoa bomb craze over the winter, you'll probably have these silicone molds. If you don't, that's okay. You can grab these on Amazon for fairly cheap. There's going to be a link in the description below. Because they're kind of flimsy, I'm going to put them on a cutting board to keep them stable. Now I chilled my Michelada mix earlier so it's nice and cold, and we're going to fill up each cavity. Because the silicone molds are not so stable, you want to just try to get it to the top as much as possible. If it spills over a little, you can just adjust the mat and fill it over. If it's a little extra more than the mold, you can cut that out later. Now once you get these cavities filled, you're going to go ahead and put this in the freezer for no more than 2 hours. You can do 1.5 to 2 hours. That's the magic number to get it when it's just semi-solid.
2 hours later.
Of course my camera died at the most crucial part, but luckily I have this footage. But basically you just want to get a spoon and start scraping. Now this has been frozen for an hour and a half, and so it's soft enough to scrape but also strong enough to hold its shape. You just want to start getting in there, and I find that scraping through the sides is the most efficient way to do this. Of course, pick up any of the leftover bits and put that to the side. And again, the circular side-to-side scraping motion is the most efficient for me. Now, of course, you want to be careful because it's all a balancing act. You don't want to go too slow because you don't want these to melt. The more they melt, the weaker they are. But you also want to make it deep enough and hollow enough so you can fit more stuff in there. If they end up cracking for some reason, you can fill it up with a little bit more juice to kind of fix that crack. But you want to be as careful as possible. So you can see here, I think I did a good enough job, but I might have gone too deep. The bottoms have to be strong enough to hold pressure later. So what you can do is you can take some of your leftover juice or some of the bits you just scraped and just simply pour a few drops in. Just pour a few drops in because the base is gonna, be the most important part. That's where we're gonna press down on. So now our hollow shells are ready for the freezer. You can freeze them for a minimum of 3 hours, but I'm gonna just go ahead and do them overnight just so that they're perfectly ready to handle later. Now we're going to make the chamoy. Chamoy is made with pulparindo, which is a tamarind paste candy. You need 12 pieces of pulparindo. Pulparindo comes in different flavors, including watermelon and mango. So if you wanted to make a watermelon chamoy, you would use watermelon pulparindo with watermelon Lucas. I put about 2 tablespoons of water just so that I can get it going. We're going to cook it on medium-high flame just until it's mushy enough and melted enough. We don't want to burn this. You want to keep going until you feel like it's nice paste consistency, and then you're going to follow that up with a half a cup of chamoy and keep cooking that until you can break up as many of the lumps as you can. Next up, we're going to do a half a cup of tahine, And for Lucas, we're going to put 3 bottles of Lucas powder. Again, if you want to make just particular flavor, you use that flavor of Lucas. Now you want to cook it on low flame just until the point where it's thick, and you can taste it and adjust the flavor. So I've added 2 tablespoons of sugar because it was a little too sour for me, and continue tasting and adjusting as needed. Again, I'm stewing this on a low flame, and you can check the consistency by running a finger through the spoon. You want to get the consistency to a point where if you run a finger through, it's not going to immediately set back. So here it's nice and thick, and you can see with the spoon test that it worked. You're going to put it in a glass container or something while it's hot. Now it's important to note that this paste will thicken up as it's cooling, so you want to get it to that right temperature. And you'll know it's done because you'll see how smooth and velvety it is. Look at those ribbons of deliciousness. Alright, now let's stuff this piñata. So I've got these pica tamarindo candies. They're little bite-sized pieces of tamarind covered in sugar, salt, and chilies. And then we've got these hot cherry locas, which are basically the same thing, but they're sweet cherry flavor. Nice size here on these guys. Very tasty. And then we're going to use the pulparindo from earlier. We're just going to use some kitchen scissors and cut them into bite-sized pieces. Now you can put whatever candies you want. I found these Sweet Heat Skittles for a little sweet and spicy. And then you've got these Scandinavian Swimmers. They're basically sour candies. I'm a vegan, so these are perfect for me. You can use any candy you want. These Tamaroka candies, these little straw type of things, they're going to be perfect as a swizzle stick. They're made out of tamarind. They're also sweet and spicy. You guessed it. Now for garnish and extra stuffing, we're going to use some lime pieces. We're going to cut some small pieces to put inside of the bombs themselves. That'll be a fun little surprise. And then some for the cup. Now when you take your pieces out of the freezer, you want to work quickly. This is how we're going to assemble it here. You can use the side of the silicone to basically just pop these bad boys right out, and you get a nice perfect shape here. I'm going to put them in little bowls here. You can also put them with little cupcake liners to make them nice and pretty. And then you can just start stuffing them with your candy. So a little bit of everything here. Make sure everyone gets a little piece, and then your lime wedges. Now we're going to use chamoy as the glue. So now the chamoy is nice and thick, and we're just going to do our best to get as much chamoy on the rim as possible. And it's as easy as that. Now when you first put it on, it's not going to look that great, but you just have to use a little bit of force, very gently, to push the 2 sides in. And like building a house, we're going to use chamoy as a mortar to make sure we close up those seams. It's going to be a little hard because the ice is cold and wet, so the chamoy might slip a little, but that's okay. You can see there's a little crack at the bottom. You can also cover that up with some more chamoy. And there you have it. Nice and simple. We're going to repeat the process here. Now, if you're making a bunch of these, I would just make them ahead and put them back in the freezer as I'm making them. That way that they can all kind of stay nice and hard there. But you're going to continue going until you're done. So these guys are ready. They can be served right away. Or you can, again, if you're going to serve this later, put it back in the freezer. Now when it's time to serve it, you're going to cover it with just a little bit more chamoy. This is kind of like the icing on the cake. A little bit of Lucas for effect and color. And then of course tahini. You can never have too much tahini. Now it's ready. So we're going to rim our glass with the chamoy itself. And then some extra tahini. Did I mention we like tahini here? We like lots of tahini. And for the beer, I'm using Pacifico, but you can basically use any kind of Mexican beer or even a light beer. You can use Dos Equis, you can use Corona, etc. Now for this first time, we're going to put the Michelada Bomb on the bottom and the beer on top. And you can see here that when you do that, it starts melting right away. And you're going to have bits of your candy and your things popping up as you mix it. This is really cool. We're going to use the tamaroka to just give it a little bit of a help. And look at that. It's so great to garnish and serve. It looks so cool. It is picture perfect, Instagram ready. Look at that. It's just so fun. Now we're going to do a second one. I would probably decorate these right before serving. So we're just going to do the same process here. But this time we're going to put the beer in first. Okay, so we're going to put the bomb on top just to see how it kind of explodes. So right on top here. Beautiful. Look at those bubbles. Now it's taken on water and it is actually opening up. It's really cool. So here's another angle, guys, so you can just see how it just cracks right open. How cool is that? Now, it's such a cool party trick. It's so fun to look at. It's so fun to drink. And then of course we're gonna get our tamaroko stick, and we're just gonna kind of push everything down and give it a little help. And as you're doing that, wow, all that good stuff just starts popping up. And again, a little bit more garnish to make it nice. So there you have it, guys. These frozen Michelada bombs are life-changing. Yeah, they're a little work, but you know what? The payoff is so great, and I can't wait to try it. So cheers to you guys. Happy 2021. Oh yeah, that's amazing. That chamoy rim, fire. So good. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need some Tums tonight. So if you thought this was pretty cool, check out my other video where I did a fizzing Michelada Bomb, or a Miche Bomb. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see some more interesting recipes. As always, thanks for watching, and Happy New Year.